So I was thinking to myself, what is the worst playthrough that I could possibly do that's actually doable? And I think I figured it out. Legendary Masochist Death Mode, Legendary from Vanilla, Death Mode from Calamity Mod, Masochist Mode from Fargo Souls Mod, making even the simplest bosses such as the Eye of Cthulhu absolutely insane. I start this playthrough surrounded by two pools of lava. For the Worthy actually makes so way most water pools on the surface are converted into lava, so there's more danger to look out for.
Yeah, like I said though, really how bad can this be? This can't be that bad. I mean, like this, I feel like it's not going to be the worst thing I've ever played. I'm going to try not to die to anything but by, like, bosses. Yeah, and like I said, worst case...
After a few unfortunate deaths, I decided to actually break the floor under the lava so that way I can cover them over and not die to them again. These will become useful later though. I spent some more time underground getting life crystals to try to get full HP, ores for armors and weapons, and looting chests for accessories. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the desert to try to find the pyramid. In Fargo Souls Mod, you're actually guaranteed a pyramid because there's a boss to fight here later on. It gives a good accessory, gold, and you can get a free enchanted sword from here, so it's pretty good. I decided to attempt to loot the underground desert to try to get a magic conch, Dune Rider boots, and a bass statue, but I died, which means I gotta run all the way back and go retrieve my gold. I do end up finding two chests, neither of them giving me what I want, which is unfortunate. I use graph potions that I found in the caverns to explore the sky. The only thing I can really get is the sky planetoid, and for the Worthy Calamity, there's actually planetoids that spawn with cobalt, and you can find molten throughout the map, but I am not going to use this because I'm only using on-tier gear to make this harder for myself, so I will completely skip all of that. I ended up spending like 3 hours just preparing for bosses just to use almost none of the loot for boss fights. I found out an evil presence is watching me, which means that Cthulhu is going to spawn, so I might as well give it a shot.
10,000 HP on a pre-hard mode, on the first boss in the game is nuts. I don't have Hermes, but I have no mobility put on.
And after that very quick defeat to the Eye of Cthulhu, a goblin army decides to show up. I actually used the pool of lava that is on the surface to very quickly take these guys out. Makes it no issue at all. Absolutely amazing. The one thing I love about these lava pools. The Eye of Cthulhu did spawn. Very quickly killed me, so I can now go find the Goblin Tinkerer. After getting some gear upgrades with the Tinkerer's Workbench, I tried fighting King Slime. I very quickly died, but this is definitely doable. I decided to get a Swiftness Potion and an Iron Skin Potion, and that's it, and give it another shot. Really, this boss isn't bad. In Masochist mode, I believe he is bigger than normal. I don't remember how small regular King Slime is. He spawns slime from the sky. He does an attack where he jumps over you and spawns like a little rain of slime that you gotta go in between. Really, he's not that bad. He is the very first Terraria boss, so of course he's not going to be absolutely awful. But yeah, he has changed quite a bit. In his next phase, he spawns his crystal overhead. It does shoot down at you, but it's really not that big of an issue. I am going to take time while I'm fighting King Slime in the background to say I do stream all of my runs on both TikTok and YouTube. My TikTok is Crumbean if you're interested. I respond to chat on both of my things. I've been streaming on YouTube a lot recently. I'm not really playing this run anymore. I kind of stopped after a certain boss, which I will get to later. If anybody is actually interested in this series and wants to see me continued, let me know. If enough people want to see, I will actually put myself through the absolute torture that is this mode. Anyways, back to the King Slime fight. I am less than 100 HP, but he's also super low. I'm just running away, swinging my sword, and he goes down. First boss defeated in this playthrough. The next boss that I attempt to fight is the very first boss in Calamity, being the Desert Scourge. For some reason, in this mode, he has 60,000 HP. For comparison, in Masochist Death Mode, he has 10,000 Cthulhu. His desert nuisances that he spawns, each have 44,000 HP, making the very first boss have a total effective HP count of 140, almost 150,000. I'm not doing this boss in progression, I don't think. Maybe I will if I go back to this run, but I don't see it happening. This is just going to take forever. The fight's going to take like 15 minutes. The next boss I decide to fight is the Trojan Squirrel. The Trojan Squirrel is the first boss added by Fargo Souls mod. I am using the Tendon Bow with Jester arrows, so it does have Pierce, which makes this boss super easy since he does have multiple segments. I could be using the Boomstick for whenever he only has one segment left, but I decided not to go get the Boomstick because I am just incredibly lazy and I didn't want to. There's not really much to say about this boss. It's the first boss in Fargo Souls mod, so it is super easy. I do get hit a couple of times here and there, but really not that big of a deal. And now it's time to go back to the Eye of Cthulhu. In Legendary Mascus Death Mode, he spawns a lot of Servants of Cthulhu, enough to lag my game. I use some pretty good PC parts, so that is absolutely insane. He also shoots like blood things in a wall at you. That's kind of annoying. If I position myself wrong, I get hit. So many scythes, very easy to get overwhelmed. Never in my life did I think that I would die to the Eye of Cthulhu this much. I could just use the fossil or gold enchantment, but that's no fun and those two things are so unbelievably broken, so I will not be using those at all throughout this entire playthrough, I don't think. For those of y'all that don't know what they do, the fossil enchantment gives you a revive and the gold enchantment makes you invulnerable. Shit. I've had some absolutely heartbreaking attempts getting him less than 1,000 HP, less than 500, less than even 200, and I still just end up dying by getting overwhelmed. Even had this attempt where I killed him, but I died before he did, so I am not taking that as a win. I'm consistently getting him down to his final phase and getting him less than like 500 HP, so this shouldn't take me much longer. 95 attempts and 2 times dying before he dies later, I finally get this attempt with on-tier gear, not using Cobalt or anything, even though I have access to it. I hate it. God damn. I want to kill all the servants before I get to the next phase. No so far, the entire playthrough has honestly been pretty fun. I do enjoy the boss fights. I wouldn't be looking forward to the Brain of Cthulhu, but if anybody wants me to continue this, I will. I have no problem with it. I still have the file saved on my PC, so I can go back to it anytime I want. I started a regular Masochist mode run just for funsies, but yeah, I stream this entire thing on YouTube and TikTok. So hooray.